This is a position that I mentioned in a previous frontline sniping video. Basically, I saw another guy sniping from this little hill, and I think you can hit objective 4. I haven't been able to do it yet because when I got here, it had already died. This is actually the end of the game. But there's some sort of a hill over here. It's actually pretty big. It's about this wide. You got a lot of rocks. There might be some bushes. You don't have to go into objective 4. Look at where I am on the mini map. You can either head over after conquering objective 5, or you can come up from the south to this position. You know where where this rail station is. Shoot across the rail station. Objective 4 is right there. You can hit the stat patters that are trying to defend objective 4, and you'll be able to hit them on the side armor with your potato rounds. So this is an interesting position you might want to check out. Over here we have a spotting position, sniping position, ambush. This is an ambush position. So the enemy tanks often come up over here, but be aware that the Unicums often like to come through this little valley over here, which is going to be a problem for you. If you sit here with a fast tank, you can spot and snipe, maybe get some tracking damage or spotting damage. The reason why you need a fast tank is because you got to run away, and it's difficult. Look at the minimap how you have to run away. If you try to go through here, over this way, there's a rocky cliff you got to go down, which I also covered in a previous frontline sniping video. And then you got to go all the way around, taking you out of the game a little bit. So this is good if you have an autoloader and you're going to fire lots of premium rounds, or if you've got a derp gun and you're going to fire your gold round at the enemy tank so you can pad your WN8. And it's good if you got a fast light tank. So look at where I am on the mini-map. This is an UDIS, which has a high pen gun, and I'm firing high explosive rounds. You can see by the hit log over here that my tomato rounds are damaging gun turret 1 from a distance of 386 meters. Look at where I am on the mini-map. Again, it's from this location. I'm actually hitting it from the front. I've got some nice solid cover to protect my precious armor. You can see that my allies, they don't have to go into those positions. It's all, it takes a little bit of time to figure out what tank, what position, what ammo to do all of this. But this is something you can try. Unfortunately, with the wrong tank, you're not going to do a lot of damage. And as a piece of advice, I have a Scorpion G, which I lay out specifically for the purpose of sniping at turrets, which means it's got lots of HE rounds and lots of gold rounds. This is just showing a bug where it shows, oh, I better not say, this is showing a feature where it's showing that I have 4 different things activated, which is not possible. You can only have 3. Okay, so now here's a situation where we got a stat patter who is a Scorpion G. He's not visible. If you look over here, it says local urban Scorpion G destroyed objective 1. Objective 1 was taken out of the game. What he did was he came over here and he fired his gold rounds over the Indian Panzer through these buildings at objective 1, which is this little square with the X over here. He did it from this location that I'm pointing to on the mini-map, which is near this Scorpion G. He did it somewhere around that area. If you look at this next shot, you can see that he finally appears. Let's see how many seconds elapsed. 17 seconds later, he appears in this location. He had to have been up here somewhere, did not get spotted by this potato, and did not get spotted by this potato. Was able to snipe at that objective. This is a location that when you spawn, it's easy to ride up on the hill. Not a good location. If you see it, you're going to sit here and you're not going to be able to shoot at anything. A lot of Unicums are just going to drive right by you. Let's say you got a lot of Unicums that just destroyed objective 1 because your potato teammates are just not defending it. They tend to rush on the lower land unless they're fast. If they're fast, they might come here on the upper area. They're going to go by so fast. My experience is you won't have any luck from this position. Now, if you have an op tank and you got all your premium high pen rounds, you know where this position is. This is Cap D. There's a strong, solid object right over here. There's a little hill over here and another solid object to your right. This is a great position because you can fire your heat rounds. Basically, the enemy is coming towards you. So you don't have to chase after the enemy. You know they're going to come. And you know they're going to be a bunch of potatoes. You will have to shoot at their frontal armor, which means you need your high pen rounds. So you can just sit right here. There's an elevated area which is this hill right over here on the right, which I've spoken about in previous Frontline sniping videos. You can see that I'm shooting at this potato over here with my tomato round, and I'm being shot back at with APCR. Apparently, if it's yellow, it's a gold round, but if it were gray and said APCR, it would be his stock round. So you can go up to this position, you can go around here and shoot at your potatoes that are coming around this flank. You can see where they are on the mini map. So it's a little bit of a flexible position, and like I said, you're going to want strong armor, or you're going to want a strong gun, high pen gun, etc. Maybe a turretless tank destroyer. This might be a good position. This might be a fun position to play. Okay, now over here, if you watch my previous videos, you'll know that there's a lot of trees which are in front of this tank, which is off screen to the bottom of the screen. What I want to do is I want to find a position where I can fire my tomato rounds at the rear of the enemy tank, such as this communist IS-3 as he crosses over on this bridge. Even though I am a French tank, I don't want to retreat or surrender in this game. What I want to do is take up a position such as this position right over here, hit him in the rear, unload my rounds into his rear, which is a lot of fun. I really enjoy doing that. Bum rush him. You do have to worry that tanks might come around the other way. If they don't know you're here, they're not going to come looking for you. But if they know you're here, they're going to come around the other way. And how do I know that? I know that because I've been playing this game. And I've been playing this position because, as you know from watching all of my videos, I play the challenging positions because I'm not a stat patter. And I play the challenging, difficult positions. So I know from playing here, if you get spotted, they will flank you from both sides. I had a victory here. Of course, it was me with my super high win rate that led the team to victory. I wanted to be able to get some action actually playing in this position and sniping at these communist tanks from the rear as they came across. It didn't happen, but obviously you can see that it's a possibility. So over here, this is what I describe in many of my videos as my favorite sniping position in Frontline. I'm going to talk a little bit about it. If you've got low pen tomato rounds, you might have some trouble. When you aim, you want to aim at the plate of armor that is closest to you, which is going to be this area right here. The further you go to the right, it changes your angle, which reduces your penetration. If you look at my previous Frontline sniping videos, you're going to see there's a video where I show that here I can penetrate, down here I can't, over here I can't, over here I can't, but over here I can. You want to get this circle tangent with this piece right here. That's a big word that I just used, tangent. Oh, wrong. Okay, correct. So this little communist tank is able to snipe at that. He's got this rock protecting him. The enemy, look at how the enemy is positioned in their defense. They can fire all the gold rounds they want. They won't be able to stat pad against me. I'm in a safe position if I take this up. Some videos I was knocking this tree down. You can come up here, fire, roll back. You can get over here. You know, you decide what you want to do. You do have to be careful. Artillery will hit you in this position. And I've been sniped before playing in this area by the stat patters. For example, looks like there's a WZ-111 over there. So I'm not going to say that you're completely invulnerable over here. But I usually do a lot of damage. You can see I hit it twice over here with my tomato rounds. Oh, you know what? Look at that. I'm firing premium rounds. Yeah, you know what? If I use the tomato rounds, they probably won't penetrate. Okay, so now this is a position. This is for Cap B, underused position. If you're defending, you can sneak around, rush to this position, and you can hit all these tanks on the side with your tomato rounds as they're slowly trying to get to Cap B. And we know how it is. You know, they're always in a hurry to get to the cap. So This is an underused position. You got a lot of rocks. You got an elevated position, a lot of targets to shoot at. I'm going to be honest, I didn't last here long. One of their stat patterns eventually took me out of the game. I didn't get a lot of action here, and it was my first time playing. So I really don't know what the coverage is like on that, Cap. But this is a position you might want to try. This is a position that I spoke about in some of my earlier sniping videos. It's near the red line. You can see some of the tanks. You might get some of them in your spotting range. And it's a hull down position. The tanks are in general coming in your direction. There is a repair facility. That's actually not the one. It's actually this one over here. This one is far away. So they're going to be heading in this direction. There's a lot of objects you have to shoot through, but you can ambush them with your heat rounds, and you can do your stat padding on the potatoes as they're going to repair. It's not the best position, but you might want to give it a try. You know that tanks eventually are going to come this way, and you know you're going to have to run at some point. So consider this position. This is what it looks like. Apparently there must be some bushes in the way. Okay, so it looks like there are some trees in the way. And this is another view. You can see that those tanks disappeared because obviously they all have 7 skilled crew members with concealment. This is an example of another sniping position. Look at where I am on the minimap. This is a position that I have been testing a little bit. I've seen other people use it. It is a very vulnerable position. The enemy stat patterns are going to be able to snipe at you. They're going to be able to hit you with their tomato rounds. You are close, which is good if you've got a lower pen gun. You're very vulnerable. The enemy literally might be right in front of you. There's a little tiny slope. It doesn't give you a lot of unicum hull down protection, but I'm not going to say that this is a good position. I don't think it is. However, if you happen to be in the area and you just want to stop by, you might want to check it out. Be aware that this is the best way to snipe. Oh, I'm sorry. There's actually some other positions that are on the other side of the rock. But you don't want to go drive up to turret 5 and get behind turret 5. You just come over here to this position. The position I'm talking about is right over here on the map. You hit turret 5. The enemy might be defending from right here, so you really got to be careful. I've seen people sniping from these houses. I don't know if you can hit turret 5, but I've seen multiple tanks firing their gold rounds at turret 5 from this location. And I believe that there is another location somewhere out here. Really don't remember what it is, but I talk about it in some of my previous Frontline sniping position videos. There is another position. It could be this house. I don't remember what it is, but there is something else out here. So consider this position when you play the game, especially if you've got smoke dropped by one of your potato allies. This is just showing how the #1 player, we lost this game, got 1700 EXP. He only did better than like the bottom 6 or 7 people on the enemy team. So all your WN8 stat padding allies that are telling you to intentionally lose the game so that they can get more prestige, and they say, oh, you get more EXP by losing the game, it's not true. You get substantially less EXP when you lose the game. Okay, so what's happening here? I've covered sniping positions through the rails. I just happened to be in this position, and there just happened to be some stat patterns driving through here. And, you know, I fire the tomato rounds, and I could hit their side armor. You've only got a short window of opportunity that they're going to drive through over here. But if you happen to be in the area and you happen to see some unicums driving by, know that you can shoot through this angle from this position. They are going to cross through this way. And I seem to recall they were kind of going back and forth, showing me the rear. So it is an interesting position. Maybe, I don't know. We'll talk about it more, I'm sure, in the future. This is a position, obviously, that I showed you not too long earlier, which was shooting at objective 5. This is just an alternative view. It's an alternative fact, And you can see that I'm not able to penetrate with my tomato rounds. Actually, it looks like I did 159 damage, even though it doesn't show a penetration. Doesn't make sense. Okay, let's see what's next. This is Cap B. I believe what I'm showing here is see where this potato is, the EBR 75 FL10. He's in kind of a good position because all these stat patterns over here, they can't really snipe at him. He's vulnerable to the WN8 patterns who are on this opposite flank, but to all these other guys, they literally got to drive on the cap to hit him. This T-34, he can be hit by these unicums over here, and even this ELC, he can be hit by these unicums. So you might want to consider this position if you got a tomato tank with weak armor and you know that the enemy is going to be firing their gold rounds at you. I usually take this position if I've got something that has reasonably strong armor, and if you got an op tank like a defender or a mutant, and you're going to be blocking crazy amounts of damage, you sit over here, prevent the enemy from entering the cap. That's a good location. This is me on the little island. I'm actually on the defending team. And I'm just showing that I'm shooting at these Unicum players. It looks like it is an Udis. I wonder if that's an Udis medium tank. It's an Udis medium tank who's on the cap. So I'm showing you that you can knock down some trees over here. You can fire your tomato rounds, and you can hit tanks that are on the cap. You don't have ideal perfect coverage, but it's something you can do. The problem with this position is that they will fly recon flights over you. You will get spotted, and if you get spotted, it's for like 20 or 30 seconds with a recon flight. So it's not an amazing position. Okay, this is an unicum position where you can fire your gold rounds and do your stat padding and pad your WN8. And the reason why is because you can cover objective 4. You can cover this alley where all the enemy stat padders are going to drive through. And there's a repair facility. Look at the minimap right next to you. So when they fire their gold rounds at you and knock you down to 1 hit point, you can just go here and repair and come back. I haven't tested this position. I have played here trying to defend objective 4, etc. But I haven't monitored this access way. You know that the enemy stat patterns are going to drive around this hill through here on this lower level and this upper level, and maybe through this train station. I don't know if you can hit them from this position. This is up on a hill. But it's something that I will explore, and I will report back to you in the future. This is a better view. You can see the repair facility, elevated hill. You can see that there's another angle. Maybe you can hit that stat pattern through these buildings over here. You've got a pretty good view over here. And this is another view which shows the little corridor that the stat patterns come through. All the Unicum players drive through this little corridor. You can see that a lot of them come through this area and through here. You might only have shots on them once they breach this area. I'm not sure. We'll have to visit this area in the future. Okay, and that's all the positions for today. Feel free to post in the comments about how terrible my positions are and about how low my win rate is, and I'll see you next week.